You know, the Roman times, they had those
Rhinos?
Yeah, like giant rhinos. So it makes me think, if they could wrangle that one, why couldn't they wrangle a shark?
A rhino is for dry places. It could have oxygen. Oh my god, how could you bring a shark to the land? But he just doesn't listen to anybody around him. He shouts at his mom. That's bad. That's real bad. And then, yes.
I would shout at that mom too, though. But anyway.
She is such a, always after generals.
Oh my
god. What the
God,
fuck is wrong
get
with
some
her?
Help. Yeah.
Aren't you, read meditations? Your dad's work or
Yeah,
something?
Literally. He's this angry guy. And he's being forced to lead slowly. You know? So he doesn't know how to teach.
Right.
But the story is about him being bestowed upon this task of now leading everyone.
Which is very also makes me be worried about Roman people after that. They have this rageful, this angry emperor that killed everybody, and he's on top. What is he gonna do? Hey pals, welcome to another episode of the Plot Pals podcast.
A new movie is in the theaters today that is so different than anything you have seen before, that is going to shock you, revile you, if that's a word, and going to keep you at the edge of your seat. We are talking about Gladiator Part 2.
First of all, the director Ridley Scott, he knows how to show this world very well, and we love it. We love the games. We love the Hunger Games of this time, the Roman time, the gladiators, all the fighting and this cheer, this crowd, these buildings. But at the same time, it questions everything that happened in the first movie, what they fought for, what Maximus fought for. It's all of this down the drain. All those speeches, all those fights.
Well, that movie came out 25 years ago. Nobody remembers it.
Oh,
So
I remember. I remember. So vividly.
I walked in and I'm seeing, there's a man who is a little bit angry. Clearly, he has some anger issues.
Yes.
He has a wife he loves. And immediately, they're getting attacked by the Romans. Now, but you get to see how it would feel like for the Romans to attack your village. And it's such a visual. Oh my God, Pedro Pascal is over there with his red robe and he's eating bread and drinking wine and he's coming to pillage your country, you know?
But who takes
So
Pedro Pascal
great.
Seriously? Come on, guys.
Me.
I just laugh every time I see him on the screen. He's not one to be a general. He's not one that you look at and you're shake in your grave.
Right.
No.
For me, he looked like he is eaten well. Clearly, they've treated him well. He's buff and he's comfortable. Probably he lives has spa days and everything. He looks good, you know. But then I can also see that he is strong because he does look a little bit bigger, and also that face. It's a very his face shows emotion well.
Yes.
You can tell what he's thinking.
Yeah, his face shows the smirks very well.
Yeah.
It's
Which is great.
It's he's always on the verge of just breaking into laughter. I don't think that's a very good look for Roman times, which is very serious. After Maximus, oh my God, take Maximus, the charisma he had, the whole aura that this guy had. Pedro Pascal, who
Pedro Pascal,
that general, who
general.
it's not the actor, but
right.
Who is that guy? I don't give a shit. And not even the other character. Not any.
Well, okay, but let's talk about the general first.
Okay.
He's a guy who sees the absurdity of what he's doing, and he feels like a tool. So he just has to do what the kings say. He feels like he has no control. And then at the same time, he sees how terrible the things he's doing.
Right.
So he's kind of in this in-between land where he's I find this funny. Why am I killing these people? I don't even want to. And I'm judging myself as well, but I need to win anyway. I have to. So it's this complicated character who almost has no agency. All he can do is I have to win. I can't really think about myself right now. It's my job to save at least my soldiers. We gotta win and get the hell out of here.
Yes, that is
so
true.
exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting, I guess. But the thing is, we're supposed to connect with the characters, right? We're supposed to connect with emotions. It's not all fights and everything. Fights are supposed to just heighten our emotions. So when you get introduced to the wife and everything, and then suddenly, yes, the war starts and they have to go fight. they fight, you don't feel that emotional thing with them because you just got introduced to the characters and you don't know who they are, you don't know what's going on with them. Like, why should we care? Why should we care about these characters that are dying?
Well, I cared a lot though, because you know what, how much more do you need to see? This woman is putting clothes on the hanger, like she's a homely woman. She tells him, be gentle with the
which is very
rock.
cliche
No,
in all these movies.
It's real, because he's an angry guy, so he's like, just, she's like, be gentle, my guy, you know. And they're both, you know, handsome people. Like, it makes sense. In the village, they met one day, they were both pretty, they fell in love, and she's trying to make him be less angry, and he's like, oh, you love of my life. Like, I get that story, it makes sense to me. That's how it would happen. And then suddenly they turn around, like, she's also a soldier, and she's also really good with the arrow. And what I love is, then you jump into another character. So you're like, you love this guy, handsome guy. Like, handsome guys is the easiest thing to like. So it's like this one guy, he's fighting, and then the general, he is also attacking. And you're like, oh, I don't know. I mean, it's Pedro Pascal. Should I like him? Should I not like him? You're kind of in between these worlds. And then Pedro's like, kill her, you know? And now you're invested in three characters. Like, is he gonna kill her? Is she gonna die? If she dies, how's he gonna react?
Yes.
And then she dies, falls, and then he drowns. And then smartly, Ridley spends like a good 8 minutes just reflecting on when she died, how he is feeling. Goes into a black and white world. He's dreaming, like he's drowning and he's dreaming she's being taken away. And then she says, I'm waiting for you, and these kind of things. It really worked for me. I cared.
It was like he was trying to make us care, but no, that's not gonna happen with just a few shots of a guy staring, coming out of the water, with just some typical things that you see. Like, I don't think that's how it works. Now, take Gladiator 1, okay? How it happens there, which doesn't even have the name Gladiator 1. It's just classic Gladiator. How it goes. Okay, first, you just see him get into the battle. You see he's, like, ruthless. He just goes after it. He's a good general. He has management skills. Very good. Then, everybody asks, or when they want to talk to him, he's all about my home, my wife, my family. All he says to every other character in every interaction is that. So you're like, oh, that's very important to him. Look, he's rejecting the princess for his wife. Look, he's doing that for his wife. He doesn't care about money, about being an emperor, because he wants to go to his wife and to his house. The home is so important. So you're connected to that. And it's not a direct thing. It's subconscious. You're totally, like, unconsciously also get attached to that home. And then suddenly, when all these things happen and his world collapses and then his wife gets killed and burned and raped, you just cry tears. You just die with this guy too. You just bury them. He buried them. Both his son, that was his world, and his wife. Both of them. And then he just lies in the grave with them. Until somebody comes and, like, some group come and he becomes a slave. Like, they take him.
Right.
So that's tragic. That's what I call emotional. You emotionally get attached to the character. Here, you don't get emotionally attached. You don't have time to get emotionally attached to any of them.
That is true. It's very emotionally destructive to watch that. Would you want to see the same thing again, or would you want to see something different?
Not the same thing. Not the same thing. But also, this was not the answer as well. So.
In their defense, because I really like this movie, I will say this is not about a husband and wife as much as it is about this guy, this, like, what's his name? Lucious. Everything has been taken from him since he was a kid. He's kicked out of his home. He has to leave his mother, and his father was a drunk, probably, if not Maximus. And then he grows up alone. He falls in love with this one, and he hates Rome this whole time because they're after him and they ruined everything. And this one woman he finds, and then they come and kill the woman too. And he's like, what the fuck? Can I not get away far enough away from you? And so then the story is about this man who's had enough of how much Rome has taken from him.
Right.
You know? And not about the same topic as the previous, which is like, my family means so much. They took it. It's more like Rome is fucking up everything, and I'm the one who can fix it because I am the grandson. I'm the prince.
But the thing is, okay, that's not his goal. That's not what he says is his goal, at least. He says that I'm just after one general. I want that general's head. I want to kill him, which shows that how shallow he is. But at least in this part of the story, you know? And
But
that
first,
also doesn't help.
He says, I want the whole Roman army's heads. First he says that. And then the other guy's like, that's too much.
Which means it's because of his wife. So we're supposed to care about the wife. But there's not enough reason for us to care about the wife.
Do you not care about a dead person dying in the water?
I do care about that, but that does not matter when a director's job is to make us emotionally connect. Okay?
That's true. I don't even know the girl's name, to be honest.
Yes, exactly. And also, by the way, you want people to fall in love with this guy. You want people to love him, despite the fact that he has all these horrible rage and like these bad qualities. You want them to like him, and then the first thing you do is show his wife. That's such a like turn off.
Well, for me it was okay just because I think I'm growing. And before I used to, immediately start envisioning myself with the main character.
Right.
Like first thing. And now I'm like, as I evolve as a 23-year-old, I'm like, okay, let me just watch this character do their thing. And, if anything, like later, maybe upon the third viewing, I'll start thinking. But so when I let it affect me like that, then I'm like, okay, cute guy, with the goats. And then the wife, that's amazing. And I'm like, I just appreciate that he's a handsome guy, but I take my, distance. So don't you do the same thing? You're like, the wife has to go or I'm not watching this movie.
No, the thing is, for the first movie, I loved the wife so much. And I loved Maximus and respected Maximus so much. So I just don't get it. Here, the guy is unlikable. The wife is unlikable.
What?
Everything is unlikable. So you're like, okay.
Wait, was there a point that the guy became likable for you? Because there was a point for me.
He is just... I can't think of one moment. Here's the thing. This guy is just about killing. He just wants to kill. He has this anger in him that is just eating him alive. And it's like this fire, which usually should be good if it's directed in the right direction and everything. But he just doesn't listen to anybody around him. He doesn't listen. He shouts at his mom. That's bad. That's real bad. And then, yes.
I would shout at that mom too, though. She was so annoying. Oh, my God.
Oh,
but anyway.
She is such a, lover girl, always after generals.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck is wrong
Get
with
some
her?
Help. Yeah.
Aren't you, read meditations? Your dad's work or something?
Literally.
Damn.
Dude, yeah. But, okay, yeah, you're saying, so he's not likable. He shouts at his mom.
Yes. And he also is not a leader, really. I don't know where he got his skills or his credentials or why do people listen to this guy, but he's not a leader.
That's exactly the point of the story, though. It is that this guy has the rage and he has the potential to become like Maximus, but he isn't like Maximus. He's this angry guy and he's being forced to lead slowly throughout the movie. And he's like, he doesn't have those skills. Like, for example, somebody tells him, go lead your men into the arena. And he tells the men, this is about surviving. So survive. He's just like, fucking survive then. Like, what do you want me to do? So he doesn't know how to teach.
Right.
But the story is about him at the end being bestowed upon this task of now leading everyone. Which is so cool because we don't get to see him really lead. We just get to see him kill the right people until he gets to that position. And then the movie ends, which is so exciting, actually.
Which is very also makes me be worried about Roman people after that. They have this rageful, this angry emperor that killed everybody. And he's on top. What is he gonna do?
I know. Yeah, at the end he's like, aren't you guys tired of killing? And I'm like, you are the one who's been killing all this time. Put the sword down.
Damn.
It's all you, my guy.
Oh my goodness. This guy is horrible.
Okay, but when I liked him was when they throw him into the pit with monkeys, and everybody has to survive.
Yes,
with the monkeys.
that's one of the reasons I don't like him.
Oh, I loved that.
The monkey eater.
So
He's
why
like,
don't you like
everybody was making fun of him. I was like, yes, yeah, do that. He deserves it. Oh
Why?
my god, he's so.
Why?
First of all, those monkeys, what were they?
I
Stupid
know.
CGI? That doesn't even exist, that kind of monkey.
They looked so scary. Yeah, they didn't look real. I don't know what they looked like.
Yeah, they had these big teeth and they would bite and they would eat flesh. What kind of monkey would do that?
Well, 1,000 years ago, things were different. Monkeys were different, you know? They evolved into these mini little things.
Oh my god, in 1,000 years. Only
Oh,
1,000
yeah.
years. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So yes, that happens. And then also sharks. There are sharks in Roman times.
Why
they had
not?
sharks.
What do you mean? Sharks are
That's not
literally
real.
hundreds of millions of years old.
I know that.
They're evolved.
How did they have trucks to carry the sharks from the ocean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
To there.
They've built the Colosseum.
First of all, we talked
They've
about
built
Jaws.
the-
First of all, we
Okay.
talked about Jaws. Sharks do not eat humans unless
provoked.
provoked. They want to, like, they're really, really hungry. They want to take some kind of revenge. I don't know.
Absolutely.
They don't eat it like that. If they've been here, obviously they've been fed, and they're not gonna eat and
What do
bite
you mean?
every
Obviously
person.
They've been fed. They're literally
They've been
there to
taken care
kill.
of. Oh,
No
okay.
way, no
Maybe
way.
they haven't been fed. Okay, but they're not gonna eat every person that falls.
Okay, that's a different situation because they've probably been stabbed. They've been brought from the ocean. You know, like you say, they don't have good systems.
Okay, the
They're
thing
probably
is,
thirsty.
that's just not possible to bring a shark to that building.
It's totally possible.
No, it's
I-
not.
just
It's
think
not
about it.
historically accurate.
How
There's
could it
been
not be?
because it's not.
But think
Because
about
it
it.
didn't happen.
Like the Colosseum itself is hundreds of feet long, and how did they build that? And there's all
Aliens.
these buildings around. You know, they managed to build so much structurally strong things that is so
I know,
easy for them
but
to build.
there's
a
something. Do you know history? Some things happen in the past. They write it. That's it. Or like something that happened took place in the past that did not take place. Therefore, was not written. Therefore, we don't know if there were sharks in there. But there was water. They had
There was
these
water,
kind
absolutely.
Yeah, they had these kind of fights. So, and then some interviewer asked Ridley Scott about this, and he was like, I mean, why not? Sure, there could be sharks. Why not?
Yeah, I heard that. He was like, they're 6-foot sharks, so they're not so big.
Yeah.
I buy it. Like, you know, the Roman times, they had these, I don't even know what animal that is, with the big horn. They had those on
Rhinos?
lock. Yeah, like giant rhinos. And the size of that was almost the size of a shark. So it makes me think, if they could wrangle that one, why couldn't they wrangle a shark?
Tell me you're serious. A rhino is for dry places. It could have oxygen. Oh my god, how could you bring a shark to the land? How could you do it for so long without trucks, without planes, without anything?
But hear me out. They built some kind of structure with their cement and then pour water in it like a tank, right? But it's not glass, it's just cement.
Uh-huh.
And then they put the shark in it, and then over these wooden wheels, they wheel it over. Thousands of slaves pulling.
Thousands of slaves.
It's so possible. And by the way, I can't believe you don't like the monkey biting, because that's such a big, important moment, actually, for the character. He's like, it shows he will do anything to survive. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care how it looks. He doesn't care. Like, he just wants to live at that moment. So this monkey attacks him, and he's like, I'm going to bite your hand. And then he's walking there like a monkey, you know? Oh my God, my favorite shot is him, like, he's
Like
a
a
monkey
monkey?
too, yeah. Because it just shows, like, he's a caveman. Like, he needs
Wow.
to fight. That's the only thing.
Your primitive mind is like showing itself. Wow.
It's incredible. Like, he will do absolutely anything. Like, he isn't even that strong.
Uh-huh.
I know he keeps winning, but if you notice, it's like even the macaronous guy, Denzel Washington, almost puts up a fight with him at the end. You
Yeah.
know? And that guy has been eating all day, every day. Like, he hasn't gone to the gym in years. probably.
Right.
And still it takes like 2 minutes for them to fight. So it makes me think, like, it's not like this guy is so strong. It's just that he will never give up.
Yeah.
He's going to use any tactic.
That is true. And also, like, where did he even learn how to fight, you know? it's just his survival instincts that make him
Mm-hmm.
like live. Like I take Maximus, he is a general, he's been a soldier for years, he's been a leader for years. So yes, obviously if he gets into if he gets to become a gladiator, he's going to kill everybody, he's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
He has the tactics. But this guy, what does drive him to do that?
Yeah.
Is that the only thing is that when we see him, this guy is a little boy in Gladiator 1. There he's so gentle and he's like a prince and he's 8 years old. So at 8 years old, your character is kind of like developed
Mm-hmm.
to a very certain solid point. Like at 8 years old, you're going to be the same person when you are like 20. You're going to have the same like programs. So when he's a kind of like gentle, spoiled little kid, when he's going to be that age, when he's going to grow up, he's not going to have that kind of rage, even if he's angry at people, at Rome and everything. So that's why I did not get his character in this movie. It just doesn't connect.
Okay,
With
I
that.
have to tell you, I absolutely disagree. If somebody goes through a traumatic experience, after that they change. So, for example, if somebody witnesses a murder, after that they might forget how to speak, or they might become really angry irrationally, and you can't
Right.
really connect with them the same way. So this guy, as an 8-year-old, he witnesses the murdering of this guy that he worshipped, like he really liked, Maximus.
Yeah.
He is taken away from his mother and father and his homeland, and he has to live alone. And he knows nobody. He can't even talk to anybody about where he came from. It's his secret. As a kid, he has to lie all the time.
Right.
So his whole whatever he built personality-wise is destroyed, and now he has to survive again. So for me, I actually connect so much that he's this angry guy. And even, like you see, he is able to have light moments with some characters. He's able to laugh at himself and others. So for me, he was like a really well fleshed out character, actually. I
But at
connected
the
to him.
same time, he should be a guy that maybe like is a little well read, a guy that even though he's like far from everyone, he's still like even in his house had a library or something, a group of like-minded people
Right.
to like, I don't know, talk about politics or something like that. He gotta be someone that has some substance. You know what I'm saying? He
He can't just be brute force.
He
Is that what you
can't
mean?
be a brute. Yes.
But I would even disagree with this, because why would he have to learn? Like, why would he want to learn? He's seen that learning gets you nowhere. These people of Rome, they all act like they learn, and they are completely corrupt. And he's been kicked out of there. So he like, as you saw, he's just playing soccer with his friends or things like that. Like, all he cares about is, oh, I have to get married, have a child, and grow
Yeah.
these goats here, and then fight for my country. You know, like, it makes sense. Why would he read? He's been betrayed by the readers his whole life.
The
writings.
I see.
Do you
No.
like him now?
No.
Did I change your mind?
No.
Oh,
No.
he's great.
Okay. Oh, that changed my mind. Wow. And then we get to get introduced to the slave owner. What was his name?
Macronus.
Macronus, played by Denzel Washington, who like totally dominates every screen he's on. Weren't you
Wow.
impressed by this guy?
He is so captivating. I couldn't look away. The way that he holds himself, he looks around, his hand movements, when he clears his throat, you know, it was all so. It was a
It was
real
poetic.
character. Yeah.
The way he talks is
guy.
flowy. It just like rhymes. It's beautiful. It flows
I know.
everywhere.
And he was basically talking with an American accent.
yes.
He didn't even try, but it's fine. Like, I don't mind it.
Exactly. So Pedro Pascal had the American accent. I had beef with that. What was that, bro? What is that? Roman times and like
But
I don't
Pedro, he
expect a
tried.
British accent, but like a southern like cowboy.
No, he
kind of-
didn't have that accent.
No, not cowboy. It's just his last
Yeah.
project. I think he was a cowboy. That's why I say. But like so casual.
Yeah, yeah.
At least have charisma. Americans could have charisma. I mean,
Yeah.
their accent There are accents that have charisma. So.
That's the thing. Like, he's a character who's supposed to not have charisma, and that's why we even forgive that woman for not being a whore, because we're like, oh my god, okay, it makes sense. She fell for a guy who is completely, he shows what he feels. He has no agenda. He doesn't want power. He is just literally like listening, like Katapa from Bahubali. Like, he just has to listen. At some point, he's like, all right, I think we have to get these two kings out of here.
I see.
He's just such a simple guy, and charisma doesn't come into it. Like, you see how he's so awkward when they say come speak. He's like, oh my god, don't put me in this situation. That's him.
I see.
And I buy it. But Denzel, on the other hand, is the king of charisma. He actually sells it to everyone. Like, he makes us fall in love with him, plus every single person he interacts with.
And he's a far worse character than any other, than that guy. But you still are gonna love him. I love him, just because he knows what he's doing, and he felt like the main character, didn't you think?
He felt like a very important character. Yeah.
Yeah, a good villain is always necessary for a good story. Though this is not a good story because the villain was better than the main character. So it kind of like falls short.
Right. I see what you mean. This guy has so much history. He doesn't reveal where he came from. We, at the end, find out he was a slave also. He was a fighter also. And he's always like, good at telling people what they want to hear, but then clearly he has intentions of his own in the background. So it was really colored character. Really cool.
And so surprising. So this was a character that I did not expect to be a puppeteer of like the emperors at the end. Like, I did not expect that. How he manipulated both of them and became the ultimate emperor behind the scenes. That even Senate and all the senators, they all respected him. And well, maybe not respected him, but at least
they
were scared of him. Yeah, that is true. So he just turned 360 in the middle of the movie. It was such a plot twist. So I did love that so much, because the two emperors, they are such weak villains if they were
totally
the only villains. First of all, in Gladiator 1, Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix was such an amazing villain in that one. Everybody praises him. He just portrayed his character very well. Emperor that is insecure deep down, the fear, but at the same time the front, the surprising things that he would do that nobody expects at the last moment to like sabotage others. And yes, I think that's why you need a very good villain, and that movie was very clear, Gladiator 1. It had one good character, it had the same opposite force and villain. And in this one, it was a little chaotic. It was such a chaotic movie. It had too many fights, too many scenes that were all over the place, and two emperors that are apparently twins, but are so weak that you're like, are these the dictators? Are these the villains? No, it turns out not. It's the other guy. And he gets killed also. Like, it's just like, it's crazy. Like, there are two main characters, Pedro Pascal, I think, and this guy. And then two emperors, and then one other villain. It's too much.
I will say, okay.
It's too
so
much.
Pedro is definitely not a main character, even though it seems like, because we start with him.
Yeah.
Actually, he becomes secondary immediately.
Yeah,
so
very soon.
The main character is, of course, Lucious as the man who becomes king. Then the secondary is the man who becomes his slave owner, and then eventually they fight to the death. And then behind this is the emperors, and then his mom and Pedro and all the other people.
I see.
But mostly it's these two, really. So you said that exactly right. That this guy is a main character. Like he what's his name? Macronus, he might be the central guy, even though we don't see him for like 30 minutes in. But what I don't agree with you saying is like it's too messed up, because that's how the story is too messed up. I appreciate that they showed real Roman emperors. Sometimes they were teens. Like, sometimes they were actually mentally challenged even.
Yeah.
Whoever the son of the previous king was, would become king.
I mean, take this. They were so inbred
Oh.
Like, it's crazy, the
Yeah.
things they would do. Even they discussed it in this movie. They were speculating who is the father of Lucious. And they even said, oh, it might be Commodus. The brother.
No way.
The brother and sister. Apparently, they were kind of close. In
Yeah.
the first Gladiator, you remember, right? When Commodus was, like, trying to push himself on her sister. So it's like Romans were not exactly famous for their, like,
Virtue.
moral
Yeah.
and, like, virtue and anything. They were so free. So free for their time.
Oh,
It's
that's so true.
disgusting.
It's gross. But the thing is, that would happen still. Sometimes an emperor would be like a 16-year-old who knows nothing, who really also has no power. It's the Senate behind him and these puppeteers who are telling him what to do and lying and becoming his friends. But at the end of the day, like, he's put there as the symbol, and his mind is really corrupted. Like, they give him all these treats and these ladies and guys, and
Yeah.
just fucking ruin this guy's life. Like, just take him out of there, and somebody who is right for the job, make them king. Like, what the hell was this Roman system? So I like that they were showing this. Even though those two kings were annoying, it was understandable for me. Like, it was unique to see how they were
Yes.
being manipulated, how they were even not even being listened to. Like, they kept being interrupted, and then this would make them angrier. You know, these things were so cool.
That is true, but, like, also it makes me think, what happened after Maximus died? Did these two come here? Why? Who are they? Where did they come from? Like, these questions are not answered at all. We don't get to know what happened during. Apparently 16 years has passed
That's
from
true.
that time. And these two kings, where did they come from? They're so young as well. So probably someone was before them too.
Yeah.
It's just like so much.
The way that I remember Gladiator 1 is that a man gladiator is the strong guy with good morals, is put into the field to fight for the amusement of the kings. And during this time, eventually he says, I have had enough. I will not fight anymore.
Yes.
I'm going to stand for my ground. And then they kill him. So that's what I remember from it based on having seen it last year. You tell me, is that even true? Or is it that Maximus wins at the end? He saves Rome.
He kills the emperor, the dictator that everybody in Rome is afraid of. And after that, he dies because the emperor, before the fight, had infected him and his lung with something. So yes, he dies. But the daughter of Marcus Aurelius, she comes on and she gives a big speech that this is what he fought for. And yes, we're going to make Rome free. And that's everything that they did. They've been fighting for that. And so right after that is Gladiator II, which shows that
It got way worse even. People are dying of hunger. Everyone is poverty stricken.
and somehow this woman decided to just like let her child go. Why? I mean, I get it. She's afraid of the fact that he might be dead or something, plotted against by other people that don't want him to be the emperor.
Yeah, which they did all the time.
But worse things happened to him. Worse things happened to him as a result of her abandoning him.
Yeah.
He became a slave. He lost everything. He had to fight for his life. So is that bad? Or is becoming an emperor? Like, let's use our heads here.
But the thing is, though, she thought if he goes away somewhere else in the world, they won't find him. He will live a simple life. He won't be bothered with these things. But then, and keep in mind, people would kill. Like, she would have to look out for his every meal.
Yeah.
People would
All
poison things.
poisons, yes.
Especially because he's a kid, and one day he has the right to the throne, and everyone wants the throne. So easily he would have died if he stayed.
Like, at least give him a nanny.
He had a nanny. This woman with the...
Yeah. But like, kind of like get a house somewhere really remote and take care of, like, know where he is. at
Yeah.
least. Something like, wow, this woman.
It seemed to me like that's what she did at first. That was the nanny's house, and then suddenly the Romans even found that. So the nanny was like, "You have to go. Don't let them find you."
I see. Oof. And also, it takes me to the last point, which is the fact that Maximus was a righteous guy and he would never cheat on his wife to have Lucius. How could you say that that's Maximus' son? How is that possible? You're questioning his character. You're questioning everything about the first movie. How could you do that, Ridley Scott?
The way that it came across to me was that Maximus is not his real father, but it's his father in spirit. So he's like, oh, Maximus, guide me, father, speak to me.
No. They were 100% convinced that's the DNA of Maximus. Yeah, that was his scene, yes. Absolutely. The woman was so sure. She was like, yes, Maximus. Like, there's no other option. Mm-hmm. And again, he was convinced. Everybody was convinced. Everybody was saying it, just like, oh, yes, that's like common knowledge.
Yeah. Do you think if a man cheats, that means all his other virtues are thrown out?
No. Just the thing. Like,
can he not love his wife and this whore of a woman?
Sure. A general loving woman. Yes. The thing is, in the first movie, he resists the woman so much.
Right.
So he resists him so much. And we also know the fact that his son, his real son, was 8 years old, the one that died. And the princess's son was 8 years old. They bond over this fact. Mm-hmm. Oh, your son is 8 years old. My son is 8 years old. Let's have a play date.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's how they bond, which means it's conceived in the same year.
Yeah.
That's horrid. And then, second of all, they don't become lovers until she has proven herself trustworthy. Before that, he's like, oh, yes, she's just like a loose woman that is a rich woman, you know? She's obviously in politics and everything. She's involved, so she's a manipulator. I shouldn't trust her. I shouldn't love her. Even though, obviously, he's attracted to her. So, it takes a lot for him to trust her. And they kiss and they are lovers now. But then they don't have that much time to spend together. So, yes,
So what the fuck is up with that? Why couldn't you just say that Maximus is this guy, Paul Mescal's mentor, leader, you know?
Inspiration.
Anything. Why would you say father, speak to me? What's the point? What are you trying to gain from this?
Exactly.
The way it was unnecessary is crazy because you can still have the same exact movie. Just every time he says father, you just say like, my inspiration. That's it.
And the thing is, I'm 100% sure, like 90% sure that it was from the uncle. Like, the uncle was the father.
They do look similar. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, they do have the same kind of thing.
Oh my god. Also, while we're on this topic, can I say the look though? He looks exactly like a Roman statue.
Oh dear,
the nose,
God.
the chin, the beard, the hair, the eyes, the eyebrows. Whoa! And if you look at photos of him on the Instagrams, no, just kidding. I never looked at the Instagram, just the internet.
Yeah, because we don't have Instagram. That is true.
And he's like a tiny guy, you know. He's a small little guy, and it just makes me think: how did Ridley Scott see that guy and think Roman gladiator?
I know,
and then make it happen.
That is true. Every time he was on, especially in the gladiator rings, when he was like fighting actually, oh, he is the picture of a Roman.
Wow.
Even though actually, Romans were very dark skinned and they didn't actually have a lot of like blue eyes or anything like that.
Right?
Yeah, but at the same time, that's like the statues.
Yeah.
That's so similar.
Insane. Even Pedro Pascal looks similar, but this guy is the epitome of
Pedro Pascal looks exactly like the Romans, but he opens his mouth and he's like,
we have taken over the city.
Don't even.
Really good. You know what? You know who I hate? I can't get, like, this woman was bringing the whole movie down so much.
The mother?
Yes. Her acting was so unbuyable. Like, I was just listening.
First of all, she had the Botox and, like, fillers, everything done.
Yeah, she looked beautiful. Like, she looked great.
Yeah. 2,000 years ago, she just had it, like, wow.
They probably went to Dr. Ravi to do all that. But the problem I had is like she's talking. This is how she was crying. Baby, don't let them take you away. Like she sounded like she was actually struggling to get words out. And meanwhile, everyone is putting their efforts in. You know, his son is shouting at her. Son is shouting. Like everyone is doing good acting.
Right.
And she's just there like, don't be mean to your mother.
Wow.
And I was like, try. What the hell? And honestly, I think it's because she was in the first movie, so they couldn't like get a different actor. They just had to work with what they had. Like she was really beautiful when she was young. So
she was amazing in the first movie, and not just because she was beautiful, but her acting was amazing. She was such a graceful princess, just like what you would expect. But here, you just don't know.
It's insane. Like the arc with her is supposed to be so emotional. Mom, I left you. Now you're back. I want.
And then at the end, she gets killed. You're supposed to like feel something.
Oh my god. It's just her acting was like the worst part for me. It was really hard to watch. And it's not just her fault. It's also Ridley Scott, I'm sure. Like, why didn't they do more takes? I'll figure it out. But
or like change the actress.
Yes. Yeah. They always change the actress. You know, they always just make it look different. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you don't have to bring like a Botox face, like, 2024 actress.
That was bad.
That was so hard. And then the other thing is that she changes her accents at times. Did you notice that?
I didn't. I was just too distracted by the bad acting. But
I was like, is it British? Is it American? Like it changes. In this scene it's something, the other scene it's something else. That's
oh my god. What the hell? Like this is such an important job. Just put effort. Why not? You're getting paid so much, I'm sure.
Yeah. At the same time, here it is. Like Ridley Scott, how old is he? Right now.
85.
85. He's doing amazing. 2 years ago, he came with Napoleon. And even though you guys didn't like it, we loved it so much and have a review of it as well.
Check it out.
And it's huge. It's realistic. It's beautiful. Like, in terms of set design, in terms of world making, he's amazing. At this age, the scale... It's so crazy.
I mean, when I was sitting in the theater, the whole time I was literally on the edge of my seat. Like, what is going to happen? These fights are so intense. Every scene, every shot is just so building up. The scenes aren't too long. You know, it's like 2.5 hours, really exciting. And so when I walked out, it was so visceral. And then you think, this guy is 85 and he made this.
And you watched it on a regular screen. I watched it on IMAX. And the theater was so packed with everybody. There were like all these people around me. I think it didn't help.
It doesn't help.
It didn't help that somebody was eating these like candy popcorns and the smell was so bad that at every second I was like,
literally. Yes.
But somebody was drinking some alcohol or something like that and it felt like wine. So it kind of was transcending. It felt like I was like at that location.
In the Coliseum. This movie made me realize watching a movie with a packed theater is not it.
It's
horrible. People are talking, they're whispering, they're eating.
Especially when you're just one person. If it's like your people around you, that's good, I guess. No?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's whatever. But in general, because I've watched this movie twice in one day. The first time, empty. Beside me and this side, that side. There was like 3 people behind me. And I was so engaged. Like, it was like, this is for me. You know, it's like quiet when it's supposed to be quiet.
Yeah.
And then the second time, there was people. What the hell? In the theater? Get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so people are like, in the important moments. And the problem was, I knew what the important moments were. I knew these are the moments you're supposed to be fucking listening. This word is so important. And then there would be noise. And then the theater was quiet. And then the people were loud. And they're just like, somebody's laughing at an important thing, you know? And I just realized, like, I hate watching movies when there's so many people around. Fucking go away.
It's even worse when there are like couples all around you. And you're just like in the middle. And it's horrible. Yes. Oh my god!
No wonder the cinema is disappearing as a medium. Nobody likes this experience.
Yeah,
should just be VR.
Yes, exactly.
So it feels like a big
bubble
one.
that you're in. Exactly, so far away from everyone because the smell was killing me so bad. Like this, like popcorn.
No one should be allowed to eat in a theater. I say this, you know, and I don't say it lightly because sometimes the movie is long, you get hungry. Like, you can have a drink. But if you're one of those people who are like, The end of it, put that drink away. It's already finished. Why is our podcast turning into such a rage video every time? But like, please stop eating popcorn. It's so fucking like just the smell is bad. The sound is bad. Why?
And while you're eating it, you can't listen.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about these experiences.
Exactly. I think that's one of the reasons I couldn't really like focus and like the movie, because I was just so overstimulated by this like stupid candy popcorn.
Yes. I know what you mean. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was like really bad. That's the only thing. Yeah, I would say.
It's horrible. Please don't go to the theater unless you're going with no drinks and you're sitting there and you're focused. Otherwise, just watch it at home. You know, you can have fun. You can talk as much as you want.
Exactly. So that's like what it is. That's our experience watching Gladiator 2. I hope you learned something.
Yes, I hope you go watch it. Watch it in a lonely theater. Pick like 1 p.m., you know, something where people aren't around, and go to a theater where you trust them, that there will be good sound quality, and enjoy. Like, it's actually so exciting. There's clips that I hadn't seen, like, you know, sections, like the monkey fighting and the shark. There's so many different things that are completely unique. It's worth watching.
Right, exactly. The thing is, we watch Gladiator for Gladiator games mostly, and this one has so many games, much more than the first movie. So you're gonna love that if you're here for the games.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's huge, it's big, you're gonna love the atmosphere, everything about it. But at the same time, please back me up too. Like, am I going crazy or something? Gladiator 1 is much better. So yeah, back me up in the comments.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this episode and subscribing to our channel.
Thank you, and see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.